I recently came into custody of an old box of 45 records that I believe were from a jukebox, or taken from a jukebox, and going through it, it looks like it was probably in the late 50s or early 60s. When going through it, I noticed that I hadn't heard of a lot of these songs or artists, or even the record labels, so I wanted to go through as much as I can and learn even just a little bit about all of these records. And hopefully for you, you can either learn along with me or just reminisce on something that you already knew about or listened to as you were younger.
Little mama. Don't be a stingy little mama. My wish came true. My wish came true. Little mama.
So this is an RCA Victor pressing of Elvis's Big Hunk O Love and My Wish Came True. It was released June 23rd, 1959 in the United States. It was recorded roughly 1957 or 1958, and it was during Elvis's Army service, the only studio session that he had, and it was the third release from this session. When looking at the label, I saw it was done with the Jordanaires, which is a group I'd never actually heard of, so I had to look into them. They were a vocal quartet formed in 1948, and they were actually active until 2013. They started as gospel, but they did a lot of non-religious music as well. They're most known for doing Elvis's background vocals from 1956 until the 70s. They did live, studio, and film backgrounds for Elvis. They worked with many labels as well, such as Capitol, RCA, Columbia, Decca, and plenty of others. This record itself currently is worth about $2. You know, can go for as low as 75 cents. As high, I think I saw, was $6. And I believe this is a jukebox pressing, or from a jukebox. I don't know exactly how you'd say that. So specifically for Hunk O Love, it was it topped the Billboard charts for 2 weeks after it released. It was actually written by Aaron Schroeder and Sidney Weish, or Sid Jackson. And for My Wish Came True, it actually peaked at number 12 in Billboard and was written by Ivory Joe. So now more about RCA specifically. I had heard of them before, but I didn't know too much about the label, and so it became RCA in 1919 and existed as that until 1987. In 1987, they became part of BMG, and then in 2004, BMG and Sony merged, and then in 2008, there was a restructuring. It became Sony Music. RCA is actually the second oldest surviving label, because it was a continuation of another label that was founded in 1901. So the only one that's older than them is Columbia, which was formed in 1889, so it's not all that close. I guess for just my opinion on these songs, I think they're great. There's not much to say. I mean, it's Elvis. Elvis made a lot of really good music. I think I prefer Hunk O Love more. Just that, like, it's, you know, that faster pace, they're kind of slamming on the piano a bit, and I don't know if I would say the slamming sounds good, like harmony-wise, but it just gives a lot of energy, and it absolutely does not sound bad. Don't get me wrong. Wish Came True it was a very nice slow, and I like that they had this, you know, very upbeat, like rockin' A side, and then had this nice and slow, very, you know, large, with a lot of, how do I say this? They had it was a lot of vocal focus, and a lot of vocalists, And it had this nice, slow, without being sad or anything like that. It was a pretty joyous or happy song that was still nice and slow, and it sounded great. But for my preference, not that I actually like a lot of slow songs, but between these two, I think I like Hunk O Love a little bit more. And this is definitely one to keep. And yeah, I'll be holding on to this one and listening to it a lot more.